evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And to my right and to your left, of course, is the lovely Suzanne Schultz. Hello, Suzanne. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I want to remind everybody that we're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. Get you right to the dais. Get you to the gang out, Dave and the great staff here at BNN are answering the phones right over there in the booth, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. Let us know what's going on artfully in your life. So we're past Super Bowl weekend.
Yes, I hear.
Yes.
You just informed me
did
that,
your team win?
Yeah, I just found out who was playing, so I don't know who won though.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, it was a lot of fun. I mean, they have all these commercials, and there's kind of like all the big product people launch their commercials during that, and Beyonce, of course, at halftime, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, I love football, so I'll watch anybody play football.
How late did it go?
It went later than usual because the lights went out. So they had this power outage.
That's crazy.
And they were all running around in the dark. So I don't know. And of course, I can't just shut it off at
Were
the
they
end.
playing during the blackout?
They ready, set, go. The lights went out.
Oh my God. That's really fun.
I've seen that happen in baseball in half pitch. You know, the pitch is coming at you and the lights go out. Now what do? You know?
Yeah.
Do you swing?
Yeah, really.
I don't think so.
Pretty scary.
So how are you?
I'm good.
What's new and exciting in Suzanne land?
Lots of fun things coming up. We have a great video to watch tonight with Rondi Swee.
Oh,
yes.
Our friend.
Yeah.
How's her daughter doing?
Her daughter's great, and we'd love to get Rondi's daughter back here, May.
May was helping us with the show for a while during the summer.
Yeah, she was a great addition to the show, and we look forward to having her come back this summer to help with all the reporting. She brought a nice theater and dance element into the show. Yeah, she was very entertaining. It was good to have her here. It's always nice when a younger citizen gets to come in and experience, you know, not that this is any great experience. It's something different, something, you know, that you don't get to do every day. So it was kind of fun to have her. Yeah, no, it was really fun to have her, and again, she brought a whole new perspective to the show, so it was refreshing. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah. But okay, her mom, though, has a show somewhere, it sounds like. Well, Rondi has a great series of hearts, so we have a lot of things coming up for Valentine's Day, but I don't like to think of her artwork as something that's just appropriate for Valentine's Day. It's just kind of fun. No, it's not. Yeah. She's all over the space. She's all over the place, but we are having an event at the Liberty Hotel on the 12th. It used to be the Charles Street Jail, and it's now a gorgeous, glamorous hotel. So we're having an event for her on the 12th, and it's going to be her hearts, and it's just a couple days before Valentine's Day, so very appropriate. Sounds like it was scheduled just right. Yeah, and she's going to have some artwork at Twig, which they have a location on Charles Street and on Tremont Street, which is a beautiful, very high-end, gorgeous florist. So I think, again, her work is going to be a nice addition there. Yeah. Tomorrow night at the Liberty, we have Karyapa Ania, who I know he's been a guest on the show as well. And remind our friends in BNN land what he's doing. He is an artist who uses the medium of photography. He does not consider himself a photographer. He does a series of one of each of his prints. And they're so unique and so stunning, and you know, definitely tomorrow 6 to 8:30 will be in the gorgeous Liberty Hotel. Gotta get over there. I know. I'm publicly admonishing myself for not having made any of these. And one of our guests, Ethan Gaston, he had his show there last week, and he did an amazing job. And Ethan also has an event on Wednesday night. We have an art walk at Neiman Marcus, which starts on the first floor at 6. I love those. I've done that before. That's always fun. That's fun. We have Ethan, we have Tracy Girdler, we have Patrick Pierce, we have Judith Shaw. Is that this weekend? Dimitri Vallone. It's Wednesday. Wednesday. Yes. What time does it start? It starts at 6. So that's... I'm nodding my head now. Listen to me. I know. And then I wanted to also talk a little bit about Forum. We were supposed to have an event on Thursday night for Dimitri Vallone, but that has been postponed until the 21st. But I did want to let everybody know that Valentine's Day is coming up, and if you wanted to take your sweetheart out to a fabulous dinner, they're having a wonderful special.
Are you asking me to dinner?
Yeah, that's right. Janice, I'm sorry. Yeah, and so they can go to their website, www.forumboston.com, and read all about it. And, you know, again, it's a gorgeous place, and you can also see Dimitri's work while you're there, and it's just stunning.
Well, and all the artists are available at canvasfinearts.com.
Yes, and at www.suzanne-schultz.com and www.gallery601.com.
You know, you better get out there and get some of these domains locked up, because Suzanne's slowly making her way across the spectrum of available domain names.
That's right. And then on the music front, we have Deadbeat is coming.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting.
Coming up, and their big show is going to be at the Stone Church on the 9th. That's
a great spot.
Yep, Harlow's on the 8th. Yeah, the Stone Church. I'm getting so many emails from people who saw the invitation, like the Stone Church, the Stone Church.
Yeah, it's a great venue.
Yeah, their Facebook site is Deadbeat, and you definitely go there to find out more information. It's also on my Facebook site, and Mark Caron from Rat Dog is going to be in playing with them, and as we all know, he was Jerry Garcia's replacement. So. And he's also.
Can anyone really replace Jerry Garcia?
No, I guess maybe replacement isn't the proper word, but
stand-in.
He followed him, I guess, when Jerry went to the other place.
The other side.
The other side.
You know, I've had lots of people that watch. You know, I just want to remind everybody, if there's somebody out of town that you want to tune into the show, they can get us right now live if you go to www.bnntv.org. And that reminds me that I have to say hi to Kirsten. It's her birthday, a fan of ours out in Portland, Oregon.
Wow.
Who tunes in, and today's her birthday, and I told her I'd shout her out. How you doing, Kirsten, kiddo? Happy birthday. But we do have some people that watch around the country now, and we're very, very
and
happy.
around the world.
And around the world. I know that London thing is very, very
and
exciting.
Mexico. Yeah.
Cool. But I just I wanted to let people know that you can do that. Give someone a shout if you want to let them know that we're on right now. They can go to www.bnntv.org, get you right, click on what's playing now, and
what's happening.
Suzanne and I will pop right up.
Yeah.
People have asked, and I know, and I've gotten some emails. What is Suzanne doing? What is this about the music? What is she's making such headways in the art? And you're now involving yourself with the music biz. Mm-hmm. Talk for just a couple of minutes with me a little bit about what brought that on.
Andrew Swain brought it on. Andrew's been doing it for about 20 years in a different capacity than I want to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to manage. I'm not going to be a music manager. I'm going to work with musicians in the same way that I work with artists. Mm-hmm. In terms of, it's a very similar thing, finding venues and helping build a career. So I'm not going to become that manager. It's really no different than what I'm doing now. And I always thought I could have an infinite number of visual artists, but that's not true. To do a good job for my artists, I can only have about 20. Mm-hmm. You know, and then it just it wouldn't
exhaust
work.
You. I mean,
and there's not enough venues, and there's not enough of everything I need for what they're doing. So for my business to progress, I need to continue working with artists in the same sort of vein, but it has to be a different genre. Mm-hmm. So I have a partner in this division of the business, and that's Andrew, mm-hmm. and he's really doing most of it is him, but we decided to bring it under.
That's great.
Yeah, under the umbrella.
The great band, Bird Mancini, has a song called I Want My Own Brian Epstein. Now, Brian Epstein was the manager of the Beatles. You're not going to be doing that kind of thing, booking hotel rooms for them and making sure they look, you know, and all of that kind of...
no, but it's very
buying their clothes for them and stuff?
You know, some of these younger girls, the young singer-songwriters who are starting out, one of the things they need to do is have a voice. Yeah. They need to have a look. So, you know, getting them involved in
stylists. A voice speaking for them, or a voice start with?
An idea of who they are. Because, you know, when you're young, you want to, am I country, am I rock, am I alternative? Yep. You know, so it's sort of paring down what they do, finding a direction, and also finding a way to physically look that part. So there were.
So that's a manager. I mean, that's managing.
I'm not a manager.
Okay.
Yes. But
well, you're not A&R'ing them. You're not picking out material.
No, I have absolutely nothing to do with that. And what we really are focusing on with a lot of them is getting the videos done, building a Facebook presence, getting work on, songs on YouTube. Because a lot of artists, visual artists and musicians really, again, they're so busy creating, they don't necessarily...
It is sadly one of the last things they really think about
They
doing.
never think about it. They say it's not important. It's like so important. So I spoke about somebody last week on the show. They had 100 hits on their Facebook page that day.
That's great.
And I said, do you think that's accidental?
Yeah,
It's because I talked about you on TV and people were interested in hearing about you. And now we're building more of a presence. And people are sharing and liking and listening. And again, I don't want to be involved in that big picture thing, but again, I feel like what I do for the musicians is pretty much the same as what I do for the artists.
Is there a stage? Let's say we have one of these young ladies we're going to have on the show in a few weeks from now. They get to a level. Is there a level where you kind of step out and go, okay, off you go?
Maybe. I never want to put any limits on myself in what I do with artists or musicians. I know what I can do today wasn't something I ever thought I could have done a year ago, 3 years ago, certainly not when I started 6 years ago. So
6 years.
I think it might even be more. Yeah, I think I might be going into my 7th year. I'm not very good at math,
but let me handle your business.
hey, come work with me.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I don't limit yourself because you don't know where it's going to take you, and you could, who knows?
Yeah, at this point, if somebody says to me, I really need help I'd like to get into major museums. I've helped artists get into small museums and do certain things like that. I don't necessarily know if that's an aspect of the business that I would choose to want to. It doesn't seem like it would mesh well with my personality because I am a little, I like excitement, I like hunting, so I don't necessarily know if museum submissions is something that I would want to get into, but again, I don't want to limit myself.
Right, exactly. If that artist comes along.
If that right artist comes along, and, I didn't think we'd be international. Again, we have 4 artists going to Bermuda, 1 going to Spain, and 1 in Africa.
Yeah.
We've done the whole thing in New York. We just did the big Revlon commission.
Right.
We did something for Legal Seafood. We're doing another commission with the New York.
And you're right. If we had sat down 4 years ago and said that that's what we'd be talking about today, I think you might have smiled at me and gone, sure, Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, I never saw this coming. I started this business purely from, meeting Javier, really feeling his pain and his, inability to do anything with his work, and sort of naively started a business. And so grateful for that too, because there was a purity to that. It wasn't like, oh, how am I going to make a lot of money? It was really about, I really want to do this. I really want to help this artist. And we had 1 and then we had 2. Patrick was my 2nd artist. He's still with me. He's going to be at the Art Walk on Wednesday night. And he even smiles when he sees me. He's like...
Well, it's like what Rich and I were talking about it last. Rich.
Yes.
And I were from the Terrifics. We're talking about it yesterday, week right here, that the venues are gone.
Yeah.
There's not as many venues, so it's a different kind of a business now where Facebook is kind of where you go, or YouTube is where you go to hear those the music that you want to hear and to listen to the kind of people that you're interested in. Because the rooms are gone. You just can't get into them as musicians.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that, the social media is kind of like driving the business now.
And the gallery scene has changed as well, and that's why artists really need to look to these alternative venues, because if you don't change with the times, you really have to look at what's happening in the world and really respond to it. Right. And I feel like because I didn't come from that traditional art background, I didn't really know how things were supposed to be done. I just intuitively went forward.
Went your way, yeah.
Yeah, with the way I thought things should be done. And the director of the Fitchburg Art Museum said to me, he kind of watched me for a few years, and at first he didn't seem to have a lot of, maybe, I hate to use the word respect, but he was a little unsure about what I was doing, coming from a very academic museum position that he had. And then a few years into it, it was like sending me clients and telling me, you know, quoting these statistics of 6% of the population goes to galleries and museums. So, you know, you go, girl, like get these guys out there. That's what they really need. And, you know, he being a 40-year professional working for this museum, you know, had the utmost respect and care for the artists that he was working with. So felt, and it made me feel very validated and very good that he felt that the artists I was working with were in good hands.
They most certainly have been in great hands. Thank you so much, Suzanne. We have a clip to see.
Yes.
And then we're going to come right back to Ethan after that, okay? Because we've got some great art to look at here. So we're going to...
Yeah, we have two amazing artists on tonight.
No, I'm going to have Robert first, I think, right?
I think you're going to have Robert, and then we're going to see Ethan.
Okay.
Yes.
If Ethan ever gets here. No, he's here.
Ethan is here. He's very punctual.
Sorry. So what are we going to see? We're going to see
Rondi in her studio.
Rondi in her studio. So listen, gang, sit back and relax. This is a quick tape that Andrew and Suzanne did on Rondi, good friend of ours, Rondi, in her studio. And when we come back from that, we'll have Robert will be up here. We'll sit down and we'll have a visit with Robert. We'll look at some of his paintings. He's going to put some of his stuff up here. So listen, gang, you're watching BNN TV's It's All About Art. Please hang in there. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. This is Suzanne Schultz, our co-host. And please hang in there. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Do not go away. Thank you.
I call my art the art of positive energy. I intend that all my paintings add positive energy to the space that they occupy. To achieve this, I incorporate positive words or symbols in one layer or another of my work. Sometimes they're underneath and hidden, and other times they're obvious, such as the heart symbol on the top layer of the paintings in my Appassionata series. Nature is my inspiration. I really love tree bark. I love the feel, how it's smooth, but yet rough at the same time. And I get a lot of my painting inspiration from my inner self, from the feelings that I have. I never know where I'm going to end up when I start painting, but it always reflects my moods, and I'm always really excited and inspired by what I see when I'm finished. The other thing that inspires me to paint is all the traveling that I've done. I've lived overseas in Asia for 8 years. I lived in China, in Beijing, the capital, and also in Hong Kong. And I did a lot of traveling while I was in Asia, to Bali, Thailand, all kinds of places. And what I noticed is every culture has a different way of using color. One of the recent series I did was based on my recollections of Asia. It's called Asian Aspects. One of the Jade Dragons paintings that was inspired by that. Asia has a special place in my heart. I actually have 2 studios. I have one outside of Boston in the woods. I have at least 5 to 10 paintings going all the time. I put them up even though they're not completely done. But I like to kind of put them up, think about them. Sometimes I'm working on different layers of paintings, so it's fun to change it up and go from one to the next depending on my mood. In this part of the country in New England, it's very bucolic and pretty. With nature outside all seasons of the year, it's very inspiring. I also have a studio in Montana, which I'm originally from. We have a vacation home there, and it's a chalet in the mountains, so I have the mountains and the pine trees and the lakes for inspiration and the alpine meadows. Back here in New England, I often paint outside in the summer as well on my screened-in porch, so nature is always around me as an inspiration.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thank you very much. You've been watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. I want to take just a quick second, please, to thank our good benefactors here who keep us on the air, Boston Main Streets. Boston Main Streets is a great organization, a volunteer-driven organization that keeps us on the air. We appreciate everything that they do. They help revitalize business districts around the city of Boston and around the United States now. A pilot thing started here in 1986 in little part of Boston called Rosendale, and now it's all over the place. What they do is they help property owners get the right kind of business in their businesses, and they help the businesses, once they're in there, get all of their storefront improvement done correctly. And once that's all settled and what have you, they have a promotions committee that runs different events, like your farmers markets, your concerts in the park, and all of that kind of thing. So if you see somebody in a Main Streets t-shirt or jacket, thank them very much. For us, please tell them that you enjoy watching our program and that you thank them for everything that they do for your community. And without further, it is my great, great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Robert Hickok. Hello, how are you?
Great.
Welcome to the station.
Thank you.
You've traveled far and wide to get here, I understand.
Yes.
You are a painter, and we're kind of surrounded a little bit by some of them. But first, I'd like to take a couple of minutes and talk a little bit about you as an artist. And how long have you been painting, Robert?
Well, I've been doing it since I was a little kid.
Yeah, yeah. Did you have those classes in school that got you to kind of appreciate the arts? And
Well, I had a mentor in high school.
Okay.
My art teacher, Marvin Newton.
Good, good.
He inspired me really to pursue art.
Okay. What kind of medium have you been working in? This looks like
This is all oil.
all oils. Yeah, you work with oils all the time?
Right now, I used to do watercolors.
Oh,
And
watercolors are tough. I have a lot of brown paper at home from doing watercolors just because it mixes it, you know. That's great. Do you have a space that you work in?
I have a studio at home.
Oh, tell us where home is.
Home is in Vineland, New Jersey,
Okay.
and it's down South Jersey. It's really a small place.
Have you always been from the Jersey area?
No, I actually was born in Florida, and I grew up out in New Mexico.
Now, you've got it all covered now, don't you?
Yeah, kind of went everywhere.
You've been across this great land of ours. A lot of your work is of abstract kind of thing. Have you always been kind of an edge guy, or?
I love experimenting.
Yeah.
I do realist, but I also do abstract, and I always loved abstract. Big fan of Picasso, Braque, even like Van Gogh. It's like the whole Impressionist movement inspired me, because you can put your feelings into the painting, and it's not so much what the character's doing as the actual feel of the movement itself.
Right. One of the things I tell my students is that abstract art is really not a subject or a theme, but it makes you feel something.
Yes.
And to be able to portray a feeling through visual arts, it's not always that simple. It's not as simple as it sounds. There's a real craft to being able to do that.
That's true.
Do you work on multiple pieces at a time?
Sometimes, and a lot of times I'll work on a piece and then I'll go to something else because I get something stuck in my head. I need to work it.
You have to work it out, yeah.
And then I'll go back to the other piece.
I'm just thinking, because oils are such a time-consuming medium that it's, you know, unless you're blending and mixing your colors right there on the canvas and continuing through the feel.
Well, certain pieces.
Yeah, let's talk about
like
some of the
this
work, yeah.
And this one are running off primary of just 4 colors.
Okay, let's see if we can't get a... She'll grab it right there. Okay, just 4 colors? Okay, well, there's more than 4 colors there.
No. You have burnt umber,
Yep,
burnt sienna,
Yep.
phthalo blue,
Yep.
and Naples yellow,
right.
and then white,
Right.
which isn't actually a color.
Yeah, but you've blended colors to make those
But,
browns.
right, so those 4 colors keep a consistency, and then you get a nice feel all the way through.
Right.
And even if you stop and move to something else and jump back over, you're running a base colors that blend back into each other beautifully.
Right. In New Jersey, is there a gallery or space for artists to? I know what it's like around here.
Well, I have a website,
What's your website?
artist01.com.
Say it again.
Artist01.com.
Artist01.
I also have on Facebook, Artist Robert Hickox is my page. Anybody looks at it, you can see it, like it.
Well, what you're going to do is, if you go to it'sallaboutArts.com, which is the site that a lot of people have, and you can just click on your name, and we'll make sure that it's linked up to those websites so they go
Wonderful.
directly to it. What inspires you? I mean, what is it that brings you to that aha moment where I know you said you have to mull it over and work it out and stuff like that. I mean, Are you a struck by lightning guy, or can you say, you know, this Thursday I have 3 hours in the afternoon. I'm going to go down and finish.
I work every day.
You work every day. You paint every day.
Yeah.
God love you.
I get up in the morning. I begin working on art. I stop. I cook. My wife doesn't cook. I cook. And then I go back, and sometimes I'll paint till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. Let me ask you this: your atmosphere. You've obviously got a studio that you work in. You're not at the kitchen table.
No.
Okay. You obviously have a space that's dedicated to your work. If one's walking by, are they listening to Baroque, or is Talking Heads coming out the window, or is it complete silence, or is
It's a mixture of everything.
Is it really? What's inspiring?
I have 6,000 songs on my computer, and I just tell it to randomly start playing.
Whatever comes up next.
Bach and Strauss.
That's great.
But then you turn around, and I also have the rock, AC/DC, you
Yeah.
name it. Whatever it comes out, I have country.
Does it influence your work, or is it just the atmosphere?
Sometimes I will select certain songs based on that. Because if you're feeling aggressive, you want aggressive music.
Right.
If you're feeling that you want a calming effect, you want calm music.
Right.
So I'll tend to the classical when I do pieces more. This has a mixture. Something like this piece is all classical. You play the classical, you want to feel it.
I see classical instruments there, first of all, yeah.
So to get into it, I a lot of times will put classical music on to do something like this.
That's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
That's very lovely.
That's a violin broken down into pieces.
Okay, I'm going to go right to it. What inspired that? Are you a musician that threw your violin down the stairs?
No, actually my son inspired because he's interested in music.
That's great.
So I'm always like, whatever they're interested, I have 2 boys, and so whatever they're interested in, I find myself interested in.
Right.
And so in looking over music, and I love music to start with, I just caught an idea and thought, you know what, let's just play with that idea.
Right.
And I saw some of the early abstracts from the Russians after Picasso and Braque, and they had similar items. I'm like, I like that idea, that feel, and so I played with that.
You talked a moment about a mentor in high school.
Yes.
An art teacher. What was it? One of the things we fight with around this great city and great part of probably all over the place, is the benefit of art in our education.
Right.
And I'm fortunate to be connected with an amazing principal in school that believes that art is tantamount to creating the well-rounded student.
It is.
Because first of all, that whole thing of pride and self-acknowledgement of doing 3 + 3 is 6. I'm sorry, but it is for you and it's for her, it's for everybody.
Right.
You know, but boy, when I mix that red and blue together and I actually come up with a purple that no one has ever seen before, that's different.
Right.
What kind of things did the mentor, when you were 15 or 16 years old, what kind of things did he inspire?
He treated everyone individually.
Okay.
It wasn't the class.
Right.
He would not give me an A.
Oh boy, I hope my kids are listening.
He would not give me an A. And I asked him years later, came back and saw him, I says, well, you never gave me an A. He said, because you would have slacked. He said, you had talent, you had capability. He says, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have pushed you. So each one he pushed, but he made it fun.
Yeah.
He brought, like it was Southwest Art primarily there.
Was this when you were in New Mexico?
In New Mexico.
Okay, yep.
And he did watercolors, but he taught all the techniques. He would sit down with you individually. Let me show you a little technique here that'll help you, what you're doing. But then the next student, he would tell them a completely different technique because it's like, you're doing a different style. So even though you're all doing the same subject, he paid attention to everyone's differences.
That's the guy who has
and then
an eye.
fostered it.
That's the guy with an eye. That's great. That's great. And I think we need more people like that. And I think we need more people like you to tell that story that was so important to you. That and it's funny, the A thing is funny because I get, all the time I'm getting, how come I'm not getting an A,
Right.
Mr. Williams? Well, you know.
Well, in school I was frustrated because I would look at it and go, I did the best piece in the whole class.
In the class, right.
And I see people getting A's and I didn't.
But here you are. Now you've made it all the way to It's All About Arts. You have him to thank for that.
I do. I thanked him already many times.
I'm sure you have. I want to thank you. Thank you very much for coming. What's in the future? Do you go through? I got a good question for you. Do you go through phases where there's this kind of work here, this kind of size and stuff? And is there miniatures? Are there big?
Well, I use big pieces usually. These are very small.
Yeah.
Usually I'm much larger. But I have a grand piece that I'm working on right now that's 17 pieces totaled. They're all astrological and does the full procession. In the middle you have 3 of the different celestial bodies that are connected there. But when you do the whole thing together, it becomes, you got the full zodiac.
Yeah.
You've got Orion in pieces, and then when you put it together, you have the Milky Way running through, and then it'll end up with the Eye of Ra running through the whole thing, and it's like 14 feet long by 12 feet high.
Do you have a space for this?
Well, each piece can be sold individually.
And you do that?
I've started with Scorpio. Scorpio is a 2 foot by 4 foot piece, and then each one will be 2 foot by 4 foot every single piece. And if you put them all together, they will actually link up and run one into the other.
But you'll sell Mars and Venus before you...
I will more than likely never see it all put together.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because I figure Suzanne's going to probably end up selling some long before the whole pieces are done.
That's awesome.
But that's okay.
Do you map your pieces out that strategically, or is it just for this piece?
Not usually. It's for this. I had an idea. It's been mulling around in my head for the last several years. Yeah. And I got to a point that I liked this feel that I was doing. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I've got an idea to do these pieces. And I began. Yeah. And to me, that's usually the way it is. You think about it, but as an artist, it's when you put a foot in your butt and say, okay, start. Yeah. And you just begin.
Are there pieces where you start with that burnt hour in the middle and not know where you're going to end up?
Yeah, the piece over here. That's what this one was. This is just putting your expression, just letting whatever you feel come into the brush and end up on the canvas. That's great. And you just work it. And then you stop as soon as you feel, okay, that's it.
Right. Well, that's what I say, when do I know I'm done? When you like it.
Yes. It's not about how complex it is. In fact, it's how uncomplex.
Yeah, exactly.
Simplicity makes the best art.
Exactly. On that, Robert, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in. It was a pleasure meeting you.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
I hope we'll see you again. I'm sure.
I will be back up in Boston.
I'm sure you will be. Yeah. Listen, gang, hang in there. We're only halfway done here, gang. Listen, hang in there. You're watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. We're coming to you live from Studio B. You're more than welcome to join us. We're at 617-708-3290. Give us a call if you'd like to get in. Let us know what's going on. We've got another great guest coming up, gang. Hang in there. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
When I look into your eyes, I can see your mother's smile. I can see the moon and stars up in the sky. I can see beyond the blue. And I can see your dreams come true. When I look into your eyes, I can see the sands of time. I can see the hopes and dreams and all your fears.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. Wasn't that a great segment? I just love painters. I mean, all of the work that they do, and it's great to talk to somebody about the way they're doing it. But listen, I want to take one quick second before we continue to talk a little bit about this great building that we're in. BNN TV is an opportunity for you to be able to get out there and do all of learn to do some television production on your own. Also, bring in your nonprofit in here, sit around this beautiful studio and talk about your mission and let the people of the city of Boston around the world know what you're doing here. And this is the place to do it. If you go to www.bnntv.org and click on Janice Williams' name, she is the members manager and membership manager. She has all the answers and all the tricks and all the things you need to do to get in here and take some great Final Cut Pro classes and all that stuff that you need to do to be able to do some television production. This is the place you get it. The power is on. We're right here in Washington Street in the heart of Boston. So www.bnntv.org. Here's where you get it, right here. So listen, it's my great, great privilege and honor to introduce you to Ethan Gaston. Ethan, how are you?
Hi, sir.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
It's a painter's night. You're a painter as well.
Yes.
Tell me what kind of, I hate this question, okay, but what kind of painter are you, besides phenomenal, but what is your medium, what kind of stuff do you do?
I work with a few different mediums. I used to do a lot of oil painting. Now it's mainly acrylic, watercolor, just ink drawing.
Really? Mixing it, do you mix them up in the same format sometime, or is it?
Sometimes with like an acrylic mixed media piece, I'll mix some stuff in there.
That's great. How long have you been at it? Is it something that's been a lifelong thing for you?
Yeah, pretty much. Ever since I saw Peanuts. That's what really got us
started. Really? You mean you wanted to be a cartoonist?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, big time.
Well, I saw your work, and I can see where that comes from.
Yeah.
Are you a local guy? Are you from the area?
Yeah, I live in Waltham.
Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose that's local.
Close enough.
Closer than Robert is, anyways.
Yeah, a lot closer.
Do you have a dedicated space you work in?
Yes, I do.
Is it your gig?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's great, fantastic. What kind? We're going to get to the paintings in a minute, and people will understand once we get there. Are there real faces inspiring these, or are they characters?
There are real faces inspiring them. Yeah, I work a lot from found photographs.
Okay.
Or sometimes I'll just go and sit somewhere and draw faces, sketch faces. So, you know, the likeness isn't always there, but that's kind of not what's important.
You're
to
right.
Me. Yeah.
So you'll go out and plein air sketch and get like Don Copley or something and watch the world go by and pick up some people's.
Yeah.
What's
Things like that.
What's the end? Is there a cartoon character type of thing that's built around some of these?
A character built around them?
Well, what I'm asking, I guess, will there be a storyline at some point?
Well, you know, there is stories. Yeah, I mean, narrative is important to me, and sometimes a story will evolve where I'll actually spend some time and write things out based on some of the characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about possibly, you know, there's these art. They're not comic books. They're actually art books that have characters in them that follow the line of a story.
Right.
So is there a part of an author in you as well?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you do. So you have some storylines and some stuff like that you'd like to build some of these characters around. You know, the questioning doesn't do it justice until we take a look at some of the work.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we bring up a couple of the pieces right now, so we'll take an idea, so you'll get an idea of what we're talking about. And I'm going to let you kind of narrate over them once we get them up. Are they ready? There we are. Okay.
Okay, so these are a couple photographs that I found, Polaroid photographs of mugshots.
These are the bad guys.
These are the bad guys. So those are both watercolor drawings. You know, a lot of what I find lying around and, you know, works into the art.
Okay.
This is a little story.
Yeah, see, now this is where I was kind of going.
This is like I write like very disjointed vignettes, kind of like Virginia Woolf without all her stylistic virtuosity. Really bad writing, but see, there's a lost cat there, and I found that sign on a telephone pole that said that there was a lost cat with medical issues, and excuse me. So I built a story around just that poster.
Did we find out if they were mentally, emotional issues, or?
We didn't find out much.
Thank goodness, eh? Okay. Who's this guy?
That is a photograph I found, and that's an oil painting entitled Employee of the Month.
You've got a sense of humor. That's good.
Humor is really important.
Yes, it most certainly is.
Yeah.
And I think there's another one.
Yes, this is called People at Dunkin' Donuts, and it is, I guess it's kind of just a demographic study of people at Dunkin' Donuts.
I guess so.
Over the course of a couple hours. I like, way back when, the artist's role in society was to document and record history for the tribe or the clan.
Yeah, right, right.
And so I feel like I'm kind of working in that vein still.
Okay. You've got a great show coming up.
Yeah, Neiman Marcus.
Neiman Marcus.
Yep. Wednesday, 6 o'clock.
So it's part of the walk.
Yep.
Do you know where you're going to be? Downstairs, upstairs? Where you're going to be?
I'll be hanging out downstairs mostly.
That's a good spot. Downstairs is great walls down there. Will there be live music this time too? Not this time? They had a band doing Beatles stuff last time.
Really?
It was awesome.
There'll be music. There better be.
Do you have a dedicated space to work in?
Yeah, I do. My basement.
Your basement? That's great.
Low ceilings, dark. It's perfect.
Really? Is that the atmosphere you like?
Not necessarily, but try to make the best of it.
It's what we have.
Exactly.
We work with what you have.
Exactly.
I'm going to ask you kind of the same question that I asked Robert. I mean, what got this thing started? I mean, have you always been a sketcher or doodler? Or?
When I was young, I used to draw. I used to draw the Peanuts characters, and then I started drawing Garfield. Just copying right out of the comics.
Yep.
And then when I was 7 or 8, maybe even younger, my dad got me a subscription to Mad Magazine. And at that point,
the greatest magazine in the world.
I was off.
I grew up on that.
Yeah, it's the best. Yeah.
The funniest magazine ever.
So I think a lot of what I do, you can all trace it back to Mad Magazine.
Well, thank you, Alfred.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is there a Mad Magazine in your future?
Probably not.
Really?
A Mad Magazine or another different
type?
Yes.
Type of thing.
Hopefully.
I think that's where I was going earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, with the stories and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah. Hopefully, once I get a large enough collection of them, that would be something worth looking into.
The artists in those are often called illustrators.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself an illustrator?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Not a painter?
I'm a painter too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like illustrating was what I did before I went to art school and majored in painting.
What'd you study?
Mass art.
Went to mass art. Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I still am an illustrator.
Yeah. Do you use the computer at all?
Occasionally with a painting, I might use a computer a little bit.
Yeah. Because it's amazing. It's amazing tools now.
Yeah, it's a great tool, but I don't rely too heavily on it. But yeah.
Talk about your experience you're with Canvas Fine Arts now.
Yeah.
Talk about that whole experience. Suzanne never lets me really. Now that she's gone, she can't hear us. What do you think about? I'm not going to ask you what you think about Suzanne. I'm talking about what turned you towards getting that kind of representation. I mean, what kind of made you say, I really want to kind of push this into a direction where I'm going to be on the first floor in Neiman Marcus this week.
Yeah. It was just, well, I don't know how to really explain it. It's kind of a long story, but it was, if
we've got 7 minutes.
It seemed like it was just a necessary thing to do. I mean, right. I have work that has been piling up for a long time, that never leaves the basement, that nobody ever sees, and
I say it all the time. Some of the greatest artists in the world paint this beautiful picture look at it, put it over there in the pile, and start painting another one because they don't know how to get it out of the basement.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
But did you look at the pile, or did someone come along and say, hey?
Well, my
Ethan,
wife was
it's
looking
time.
at it. Yeah, my wife. Yeah, that's it.
I need the space. Get this stuff out of here. No, it's
she's
good
more
enough.
supportive than that.
Yeah,
She's like,
I know I was being very facetious.
Yeah, it's okay. She actually found Suzanne for me because I was just kind of doing the same thing that I did every day, which was, hoarding away all my work in the basement and, not making any moves to get it out of the basement.
Right.
So she did a little research, and then we got together with Suzanne.
That's great.
Yeah, and now things are coming out of the basement
That's great.
daily.
That's awesome, and
Yeah.
that's what should be happening. I mean, that's the kind of story that we need to be telling people, because a lot of artists and a lot of students watch the program, and they're sitting there saying, geez, I wish I could. It's reality, though. It's a real thing.
Right.
Is your whole existence in the art field?
In one sense or another. I mean, I do some teaching at the Elliott School.
Oh, you teach at the Elliott?
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah. So
I was involved in they did the thing this past summer where they had the schools got together, and they're all the pilot place in Rosendale, the Washington Irving and all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
I teach at Sacred Heart.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, in Rosendale. So I'm the
Yeah.
art teacher there. So I wasn't involved because it's a private school, but I knew of that whole thing going on.
Yeah, it's great what they're doing there.
Unbelievable.
So good, so
Yeah.
important. So, yeah, a little involved in that, and then also, some other stuff here and there,
Yeah,
some
that's
work I
great.
can pick up wherever.
That's good. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in and being with us for a couple of minutes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Will you be there at Neiman Marcus?
I will.
You will. So you're not gonna be
Signing
one of those signing prints.
Signing prints.
Absolutely. So you're not one of those shy guys standing off and they've dragged you here.
Right. Suzanne's coaching me
Didn't hurt too
on
much. Did
extroversion.
it didn't hurt too much, did it?
No.
Ethan, thank you so
All
much.
right, thank you.
Thanks an awful lot for coming. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to take another really quick break. Suzanne will jump back up here and we'll close the show. Listen, you are watching BNN TV's It's All About Arts. We'll be back in 1 minute, exactly 60 seconds. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Different view, dream come true. Bolts of lightning from the blue. It's upside down, it turns around. Still this rock and roll fits you. Feel good time, a friend of mine is giving.
Well, welcome back. I'm back with Suzanne.
That's right. Thank you for pronouncing my name correctly.
Thank you very much. They were great.
Great show. Yeah, two
that-
amazing
they've done-
artists.
I love having artists on and talking about it because I could do it forever.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And what happened to your arms?
It's cold in here. Yeah. Remember the night I was wrapped up in a curtain?
I do.
You're lucky I don't have the curtain on.
I
like
did
Scarlett
hear.
O'Hara
I
tonight.
did hear that you had a new designer that was going to be designing some clothes for you.
Yes,
these
yeah.
leggings on your arms, part of that.
No, these have been around for a couple of years, so yeah. I'm all about the glove, and there's something about, I don't know, gloves and stockings and, hats with a little, little veil, which are, they're kind of part of,
It's very mysterious.
It's very mysterious, and it was something very much a part of a woman's wardrobe back like in the 20s and 40s.
But you've had somebody approach you that's interested in making some clothes for you.
Yeah, we're going to be hearing a lot about her. Her name is Diana Colantino, and she is out of Lowell. She just got 3,000 square feet, and what she's actually doing in Lowell is going to be an incubator situation, where she's going to have all the equipment where young designers can come in and they can use all this equipment.
That's great.
So I'm meeting with her on Thursday.
Guys at Mass ought to be interested in hearing about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think it's a great concept, and she's a wonderful person. And again, meeting with her on Thursday, and she offered to design some clothes for me. So I was like,
it's a no-brainer.
Really?
I wear cardigans. And Janice and I got into this big discussion. What's a cardigan? Cardigan is a sweater with pockets in the front.
I thought a cardigan was a button-down.
No, that's a sweater with buttons. A cardigan has pockets.
See, I'm so not a fashionista. But I did just join the Fashion Meetup group, and that's a really fun group, and I would recommend a lot of people joining that as well.
Awesome.
There's also a fashion show on Thursday night at the Liberty Hotel. Tuesday night is gallery night.
Hurry.
Thursday night is fashion night, 8 to 10. Joe and Jen Freeman from, they have the modeling agency on Newbury Street, and they're going to be doing a great show there. So hope everybody can come out to that as well.
Suzanne, thank you so much. Ethan, Robert, thank you very much for coming in. I really do appreciate it. Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being with us tonight. This was a great show, an awful lot of fun. We'll be back next week. It won't be Super Bowl weekend next week. It'll be just plain old weekend. But welcome. We want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Get out there and do something artful for yourself, please. Get out to Neiman Marcus this Wednesday night. It's going to be an awful lot of fun. 6 o'clock. You'll love it. That's the one in Copley Square we're talking about. Take the train to Back Bay. Come up. You're right there. And like I like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please do something artful. Do it for them, okay? Listen, gang, we'll see you next week, okay? Good night now.